Hello, hey, and welcome on in. I'm going to go over Copilot today, as there is a few changes within the Power Platform, most specifically within Power Apps, and we're going to go over how to use Copilot when building out some Dataverse tables and building out your apps itself. So stay tuned. See you on the other side. All right, so I'm going to bring up our screen here. Hopefully you can see now here within our Power Apps. So I'm actually within our sandbox environment as an organization, and we're going to go over Copilot and within Power Apps specific. So here you can actually see within Power Apps, all I did was load up. I just loaded up the Power App screen, went into the waffle up here, and then went straight into Power Apps, which to get there, you just click on this waffle and then go into Power Apps, and it brought me up to the start screen. Now, the first thing that you're going to see is this big old area right here. Now, you do have to click this Try New Power Apps. So if I uncheck that, Copilot's actually going to disappear, and you're going to go back to the old Power Apps environment that you used to see, right? So now it does still kind of have this AI generated, but it's not as big in your face. So I'm going to go try the new Power Apps, and we're going to see again that Copilot now be big, and it's basically in your face. So what I've been playing around with is this actually is going to bring Dataverse into a simple call action within a chatbot. So Copilot is actually the Microsoft AI tool, similar to a ChatGPT, except now it exists directly within your Power Apps environment. For those of you who don't know what Dataverse is, it's actually a table over here. Maybe we'll do a separate video on tables and Dataverse, but for this video, I'm just going to go over Copilot and how to use it. So what I'll do here is I'm just going to ask it to build a purchase request application. How about that? So we'll say build a purchase request application that has, and you can just name the fields, right? So if you're a business analyst and you're going through the process of requirements gathering, you can actually name out the fields here. So fields, product description, what else? Product description, justification, approve. We'll do status. What else? Assigned to, hyperlink to product, and division. How about that? And we'll just click this little send here. Now it's going to think through this, and it's actually going to create a table, which again, those tables live in Dataverse. So it's creating a Dataverse table here for you. So something to keep in mind before I pull up the table here, Dataverse is it's not exactly inexpensive. In fact, you can reach your limits of Dataverse relatively quickly. We've hit it a few different times. We've had to delete tables that we've either spun up in sandbox environments or documents that were associated with sandbox environments. So keep that in mind as you're going through this, because it can get a little crowded relatively quickly. So, but let's go back. So here we are. Microsoft wants my feedback. I'm not going to do that. But here we are. Purchase request. We see the product. It's actually filled out some information for us. It gives us this description here of a product, a justification. It gives us a status here, assigned to, and then a hyperlink for the product, and then we see the division. So what we could do is we could say change the division field to a choice field and make the choices IT, sales, HR, and executive. And now when doing that, it's actually going to amend the division field over here. Now, we'll see if it actually changes it to a choice field, because actually when I tried to do this before, it actually didn't work. It actually only kept it as a text field, but as you can see there, we have the division field. And if I view the column now, you see that I have IT, sales, HR, and executive, the default choice here. And so it worked. So that's pretty cool. And then we can do this assign to field, which assign to is a single line of text. Notice I can't change it here, but I could say change the assigned to field to a person field that pulls from our Azure Active Directory. I wasn't able to get it to do this before either, so let's see if it'll do it. But see what I can do here. As you can tell, as while it's thinking, what you can do is you can go through this. You can add new fields. You can change the field that it is. Here's a table purchase request. So now it just changed it to an email. So not exactly what I wanted, but that's okay. And what we could say is we could review this and we could say, you know what? Add a checkbox field for I don't know. What do we want to say? I don't even know. What would be a good one? A checkbox field for called is this mission critical? How about that? And then we'll simply hit enter. And then now it should write a field. So what Copilot is doing here, it is taking low code, no code to the extreme. So let's just make sure it went. Is this mission critical? Yes, no, yes, no. Perfect. So for you business analysts out there, this is going to become one of your best friends, because what we do here at Capital Presence is we actually do field mapping. And so field mapping is an Excel sheet that basically lists out all the requirements for fields that we know need to be captured within an application that we're building in Power Apps. And so when we do that, whether it is a SharePoint list or a Dataverse table, it doesn't matter. We're asking the client and we're going through the process of, what information needs to be captured? How do you want to capture it? What is this already exist? Is there a form associated with this? And we go through that. We create an Excel sheet for them. And then they approve that Excel sheet that says, okay, this field is a text field, it's a drop down, it's a people picker, it's whatever that we have created in our field mapping, and then they approve it, right? So the business analyst could actually go through using that field mapping, create the Dataverse table using Copilot, and then we could have the Dataverse table before even turning it over to developer. So internal costs, we're keeping them low here, and we're expanding upon citizen developers. So let's go back into Copilot here in the Dataverse table, and let's take a look at what all is next. So we have this. Let's say, look over here, we have suggestions. Change blank to blank, add a column for blank, add a row for blank, remove the row, change the data type, refresh the data, give me suggestions. Let's try that one. Give me suggestions. And let's see what it pulls up here. Add a default column. Okay. Add a due date column. Remove the description column. I'll say give me more suggestions. Let's see what else they got here. Add a default column. What is add a default column? Let's click that. We're just going to do what the AI says here and see what happens. Add default column. It's thinking. Something went wrong. Okay. Give me suggestions. I will say that Copilot is still relatively in the beta. So everything that's happening here, let's do add a due date column and let's see if that works. Everything that's happening here in Copilot is still relatively new. It's still in beta. It's still working through this. But for the most part, Copilot has been pretty cool. It has been a way to use, we've used it internally to get things started. The mission critical request table has been updated. Okay. Oh, there's the due date. Great. So it got the wrong name of the column, but at least it worked. So then another cool thing that I've seen here is you can actually create an app from this. So what we're going to do, let's say that we have all the necessary fields, the data has been created. Now we can just create the app. And so it's going to go through this thinking process here of the app, and then it's actually going to create us a templated app around our own data. So previously in Power Apps, you had to, if you were going to use a template, you had to use an already created template and then kind of customize the templated information, which was not always great. It was very hard to customize those templates, and we actually ended up just not using templates ever. We do total custom Power Apps now because we were not really able to fully utilize the templates in a way that we thought that we should be able to do so. So that's actually what this does here, is it's actually going to create an app for you using a Dataverse table that you know already has information, or at least the structure of information, to what you actually want. Now, it does take a little bit of a time here to load up, but what you'll notice here is once it gets spun up, the template itself will have a much more modern look than the older Power Apps, which is a plus right off the bat. So you're dealing with a more modern look. It's not going to create a home screen, but it is going to create this side panel, which is a new function in Power Apps. And then you'll be able to view the data straight from the gallery choice, from a side gallery, which is pretty great. So let's take a look at that, and then we'll walk through it together. So here it is saying, welcome to the Power App Studio. And then it's going to give us the app itself. So see a preview of this app. I'm going to skip that. But notice that how modern this experience within Power Apps is already. Now, we only have one screen, which is the main screen. So we can still add screens. We can add a blank screen if we want. We can call this home screen, and we can still choose data, which I'm going to do with a layout. No, I'm not. I'm just going to insert an image. Whoa, man, my computer is acting funky. So we'll do image here, add that, and then we could create a sort of home screen. I don't have any images, but let's add one. I honestly don't know what I have here on this computer, but we'll find something. Let's use the Pentagon image. So we could do that. We could say stretch, and well, I just want to fill it actually, and we'll do that over here. And then we could add our buttons like we wanted to, and then so we can still customize the app, and then we could say navigate to main screen 1, and we could pull in the screen transition, and now we can hit play. We have this app. This is another cool new feature here. We can choose a tablet or a mobile device layout or the desktop window size versus canvas size, which is pretty cool. So we can see what the app would actually look like. So we'll click that. It takes us into the application, which this kind of has more of a model-driven look to it now that it's stretched in this window size. If you bring it down to canvas size, that's going to look more like what the Canvas apps had looked like, but it still has this modern-day feel. And like I said, we can still go in and we can still amend this, but we're starting with a template rather that's more specific to what it is that we want to use, and we're not dealing with those Microsoft templates that were not as friendly. And honestly, you could use this app. Like it runs, it works, it submits, which is much better than some of the templates that we had previously in the Microsoft Power Apps template area. So I think this Copilot template app is a really cool tool. I think it's going to expedite development, especially in a more modern look and feel. And I think it's going to get a lot of run. Developers, I don't know. Do you guys love it? Do you hate it? I'm a developer myself. I like it. My team, we're a full team of developers, and we've been using Copilot a bunch. So, but in the comments below, are you guys using this? Do you find the Copilot helpful? Do you think that developers, what are they going to do? So thanks for hanging out. Until next time, guys. See you. Hey there. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for all the latest videos from Capital Presence.